Hey everybody, okay, so one more video before I call it quits for tonight. Still battling whatever I got, COVID or whatever. Um, you know, I talked to a bunch of people in the Roman Catholic Church recently again, and ever since this whole thing happened to me, which all of you know about, I'm not going to get into all the details again. I've gone public a million times with it already. The whole mistreatment, abuse at the seminary, and then kidnapping and all that other stuff. All right, so the more people I talk to, it's a small world, and I was referred to another priest in the Archdiocese of New York, and he probably thinks I'm absolutely insane as well. And basically, and I talked to somebody else today who I'm not going to mention, who's pretty high up and knows him and everybody at church militant and a lot of people in just the Roman Catholic Church, in high places of the Roman Catholic Church. And he even told me, he's like, Steve, I got to tell you that, most people do not believe your story and they think that you're absolutely mentally ill and insane. Well, again, I don't care because you know what? What can I do about that? Even if I did care. Of course I care, but I know the truth. Jesus Christ knows the truth. His mother Mary knows the truth. I'm consecrated to Mary. I am, I'm doing the best I can, not just to be a good Catholic, but to be a holy Catholic, a modern day saint. Okay? If that makes me insane or crazy because I want to be a modern day saint, I don't say that lightly. We need to be saints if we're going to go to heaven. So, of course I take my faith very seriously. Not seriously enough, actually. And because I'm one of the few in this day and age who really take it, I guess, over the top, not just to go to church on Sunday, but live this every day, making videos, studying stuff. I've been studying scriptures and prophecies and, watching the end times events unfold for over 25 years. So I know a lot. I'm not stupid. I'm not new to this. And I've been a Catholic since I was baptized a child. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not the only one. I had some really wonderful spiritual directors who were awesome, traditional conservative priests. One of them was a Jesuit. Father Robert Russo, he's retired now. He's up in Enfield, Connecticut. And my recent spiritual director, Father Bill McCarthy, he's a published author of many books and TV shows, and ran My Father's House up in Middletown, or not Middletown, up in Connecticut. Where was it? Not Haddam, but whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, Durham. No, not Durham. I can't think right now. I'm not feeling well. But anyway, the point is, I knew him for many years. I've had many really good and qualified spiritual directors. Many of them were also psychologists or therapists, okay? You'd be surprised how many priests have that under their belt so that they can be good advisors. And even in seminary. And all of them told me that they encourage my gifts and that there's nothing wrong with me. I've also gone through my share of psychiatrists over the years and doctors on my own because I wanted to prove that I'm normal. But people believe what they want to believe. And so I'm sick and tired of jumping through hoops and trying to prove myself to people. It is what it is. My biggest mistake in life was sharing too much information with the public about things that God has done in and through my life and with me and for me and shown me. He has produced many miracles in my life. I've seen things. I have supernatural gifts. Because you tell people who don't have these experiences, they think you're a crazy person. Look, it might be 2022, but somebody's got to be the next. And I'm not saying it's me, but the next Padre Pio, the next Saint Faustina, the next little Therese of the flower child Jesus. Look, all the saints and mystics and prophets and disciples and even Jesus himself were all considered crazy. They were misunderstood. We all know this. We teach this in the faith. And yet, every once in a while, somebody like me comes along, and everybody, even his own church people, look down their nose at him and say, with skepticism, and he needs to go through therapy, or something's wrong with him. I've had priests get mad at me, even in the confessional, and tell me, What makes you so sure about the presence in the Holy Eucharist? I'm a priest and I don't even know if it's really Jesus is really present in the Holy Eucharist. Even my formators at seminary got mad at me and said that they don't believe in the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Now that's a problem. And I told them, I said, okay, so you're a psychologist who studied in Rome, and you're a formator and a superior of mine, and yet you don't even believe, nor do you have any respect for the Eucharist. And then he said, well, I don't even know if God exists. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're a priest and you don't even know if God exists? Why are you a priest? He goes, just in case. He was also a homosexual, but you know what? We'll just leave all that stuff alone because he's still flourishing over there and I'm not there anymore. So, yeah, I also noticed that some people that were kicked out of that seminary before I left are now back again. And those who were caught as active homosexuals in there are now becoming priests. And the list just goes on and on. So yeah, I'm not there anymore, but the people who shouldn't be there are there and being pushed ahead. Real nice. What kind of church do we have nowadays? But anyway, I'm the crazy one. And I reported the things I saw and what happened to me, and I'm the crazy one. See, that's what they do. They will make you look like a crazy person. They'll start writing reports saying you need psych evaluations, send you to therapy because you're a whistleblower. You're a whistleblower, and they're not going to go down with the ship. So they're going to rule you out, and the quickest way to get people not to trust or listen to you is if people who look like they have credibility can say that you have mental problems. And then nobody listens to you anymore. Well, that's what happened to me, and it's happened to many a seminarian who've been run out of seminary just like I was, many who were abused in seminary just like I was. It's the same story, but you don't hear much from us because we get, maybe we'll have money thrown our way to shut us up, but, this happens so often now, there's just a protocol for it, and you just get shoved under the carpet and ruled, and they ruin your vocation. They actually put you in a blacklist, and every other order or seminary that you try to go to will reject you, and that's what they've been doing to me, and they flat out told me, we've talked to your former seminary, absolutely not. And they won't tell me what's being said. Well, I found out through the grapevine after 2 years now, and basically they are trying to say that I'm mentally insane. Okay, so I'm mentally insane because I believe in the Fatima prophecies. I'm mentally insane because I believe in praying the rosary. I'm mentally insane because I am a conservative Republican and Trump supporter, an anti-vaxxer. I'm mentally insane because I am not a liberal and I don't stand for or agree with the LGBT. I'm mentally insane because I think that we should. I don't agree with tearing the border down and letting refugees in this country because look what's happening. I'm insane because I'm not formable. I'm not a modernist or progressive in thought. I'm too rigid. They called me too traditional. I'm mentally insane because I like the Latin Mass. Do you see where I'm going here? This is what was told to me at seminary, and they have proceeded to ruin my vocation by ruining my reputation and making everybody think that I'm a liar and a crazy person. I'm not a stupid man, okay? I'm pretty educated, maybe not through college or theology, but I was in seminary for 6 months before I left because I was being abused and was being threatened, literally threatened, and I was run out. I have not been able to recover my life since. I worked on the front lines in elderly care during the pandemic. I got hired immediately back at an employer, and I was working on the front lines as everybody's hero during the pandemic when it first came out. I left recently elderly care for a better paying job, and I ended up having to quit that because some women in the office were starting trouble with me from day one, and they were in the Freemasons and all that are garbage, and they did not like that I was a Christian, and they started giving me trouble about it from day one when I got to the office because somebody told them that I had been in seminary and that I was a priest or something, and I'm like, no. They even put the password on my computer as Father6 and basically whatever. So they it was a horrible experience. I wish I never went to that job. Made good money for a while, but for the 5 weeks I was there, but I finally quit. The day I quit, I was quickly escorted off the premises as if I was a threat. I said, hey, I quit. I'm not coming back. I'm leaving right now. I'm not working in this hostile environment any longer. This is harassment. I've reported it for 5 weeks in a row now. Nothing's being done. The girl's still harassing now. And they're blowing up my phone with messages now. They're harassing me. I can't get my work done. I'm leaving. I quit. And immediately they called basically the janitorial staff to escort me off the property and said I had 1 minute to leave. Otherwise, they're going to call 911 on me. What did I do to merit that? Whatever. Life goes on. I said, you know what? Good riddance. And if I ever come back, I'm arrested. Because I quit my job? Please, whatever. Nobody believes my stories, but this is the stuff that happens to me, and I have nothing to gain by making up tall tales. Nothing. So now I'm jobless again, and my car is broken down, and I can't fix it. It's spewing like lava, fluids everywhere. Donna's got financial problems. We're both sick with COVID or something right now. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. This year stinks already, right? Anyway, what I was saying was, a lot of people know me personally and have seen and witnessed personally, Donna being one of them, actual, serious, miraculous things. As for those who are skeptical or don't believe in God or supernatural stuff, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's not my problem. I know what I know, and I know that Jesus Christ is Lord, and that the Bible's true, and that Jesus is real. And I know not just because I have faith, but after I had faith, the Lord showed me stuff. So I thought everybody had similar experiences over the years since I was a kid. Apparently not. I'm finding out that very few have, I guess, supernatural experiences. Like, for example, again, this is where I'm going to lose people. I'm going to lose viewers as soon as I say it. I've had an encounter with the Blessed Mother and Jesus. One time in 2018. And you know what? People didn't want to believe me. Oh, you're making up stories. Donna's sitting right here, okay? She was there, and it was in a doctor's office, because I was under anesthesia, and I left my body, and I was taken somewhere in like another realm or whatever, and all I can tell you, long story short, I prayed the rosary before I went under, and so you could say it was a dream. I don't think so, because Mary was absolutely stunningly beautiful, and she was standing in front of me just like she is on the miraculous medal, and she told me a lot of stuff, and Jesus was standing next to her, but I couldn't see him as much. It was like more her. It was all about her. And I was bowing down to her and Jesus, saying, Jesus, my Lord, I love you. Mary, my Queen, my Mother, I love you. And they were telling me a lot of stuff, and next to them was a line as far as the eye can see of people looking down on the earth, and everybody was somber, and they were all wearing gray habits. It was weird. Mary was in all gray. Jesus was in all gray. All these people, and they all looked like they were wearing like Franciscan robes or something, or Capuchin robes, but they were gray, which I didn't understand. And I could see the earth below us, and they were all waiting. And this was back in 2018. And she told me all these bad events were about to happen. It's beginning. And I need to take my faith more seriously. She wasn't happy with me, but she wasn't upset with me either. She had that loving, kind of like, Stephen, come on, you know better now. I expect better from you. Because I was kind of not really... I wasn't where I should have been at the time. I was slacking. Anyway, so then I woke up and everybody heard me talking and having this conversation with them in the room, apparently, while I was under. It was very real, because the things that I saw in there ended up happening, like the pandemic and everything else. Okay, so stuff like that. And I have many stories throughout my life that I can tell you, but nobody wants to believe. Nobody except for other people who've had similar experiences, like my spiritual directors. And these are well-known priests, well-respected priests, charismatic priests, okay? They could have easily told me I needed to see a therapist or something, but they knew me. I had one for 8 years. He was like a second father to me. The other one I knew for like at least 5-6 years, okay? I'm telling you that I don't need to prove myself to anybody. But there are a lot of people in the church nowadays. They're Freemasons, or they're not traditionalists or conservatives. Okay, they're modernists. A lot of them are gay themselves. Whatever. They either don't believe people like me and they just want to write us off as kooks, or they know I'm saying the truth, but they can't admit that. And to protect the church or themselves or whatever, they got to write me off as a kook. So either way, I was told today by one of these very high up people, Stephen, Do you ever think about just forgiving and never talking about it again and move on? Yeah, I said, but isn't that convenient for all of the people who harmed me terribly? I just forgive and leave it to God. And he said, God will handle it on Judgment Day. Yes, that's true. But do you understand that you ruined my reputation? Everybody thinks I'm a psycho. Okay, nobody takes me seriously anymore. So you ruined my evangelistic ministry, which Jesus appointed to me, that I've been doing since I was a kid. You ruined my vocation. I'll never get into seminary or be a priest now. You ruined my life. I went to seminary and I sold my home and all my stuff and most of my stuff, drove the rest to seminary in a U-Haul with me. When I left seminary, I was homeless on the street. If this woman didn't take me in, another Christian, I would have died on the street in the middle of frigid cold February 2020. There was no room in the homeless shelters. We checked. And I would have died. I have a lot of health issues. I wouldn't have had a place to sleep. I would have froze to death. I mean, God was looking out for me. But the point is, I knew that if I left seminary, it was a death sentence, because if I left, I had nowhere else to go. And the seminary told me, my formator said, where are you going to go? There's nowhere for you to go. You have no family. You have nothing. You have no job. If you leave here, you're on the street. And I'm like, well, then I will take the chance, because I am not going to stay here, because I'm either going to compromise my faith and become a crony like you working for Satan, not for Christ, or you're going to take me out one way or another anyway. And you keep telling me you're never going to let me become a priest. They tried to get me to become a brother. Then they said, oh, well, we're not going to let you pass even the second semester. So you got through with all A's your first semester, but you will not make it the second. And if you don't make it the second, you're out of here. I kept surprising them. It wasn't me. I kept taking the matter to the Lord before the tabernacle in prayer, and he kept helping me. But you know what? It got to a point where I was literally in danger, and I don't want to get into it anymore. I heard them plotting in the basement in the Knights of Columbus office. I'm the only Steve Dinello in the whole seminary. Okay? And I happened to be walking by the Knights of Columbus office, going to my storage unit in the basement, and I heard my name. So I was eavesdropping, you're darn right, for about 10 minutes, my ear to the door, and I heard them making plans about how to get rid of me. And I heard them saying, well, there's nothing we can do. He doesn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with him. He passed the psych evals. There's nothing wrong with him. He's really means it. Like, he's really a good, Catholic. Did you send the emails out about him? All right, then. Did you talk to all of his professors? All right, then. Yes, it's been done. Then they started opening the door and I took off. That night, I called my formator up and I said, I got to meet with you right now. I just heard you. I heard your voice, Father Dewey, in the basement. Oh, I wasn't down there. I'm like, yes, you were. I heard you and I saw you coming down the hall. I saw you leave that office. And he denies it to this day. Well, they were in there conspiring again. And he even told me later on, he tried to admit to me, yeah, you know what, they were going to try to get rid of you. I still to this day do not know what I ever did for them to do that to me. And I'll never know, because they're a bunch of liars. Now, this makes me sick because they're priests. And if you can't trust your formators, you can't trust priests, who can you trust in this world? And I saw a very, very ugly side to seminary, and my story is one of millions, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to ruin the Catholic Church by coming forward with this stuff. I even went on Church Militant and told half of my story. Actually, not even. I didn't even get a fair share of time to talk about what happened to me personally in that seminary, because there was more to my story, like the kidnapping part. And they said, we can't talk about that. We'll bring you back on the show once the FBI does their thing and make sure if we can prove this, Steve, we'll bring you back on the show. Well, I guess the FBI probably I haven't heard anything back. They said the district attorney I was dealing with said that I took too long to come forward and go public. I waited over a year. They must have moved locations or whatever, because, you should have come to us right away. You don't understand. I was scared. I didn't know. There was a guy in the school who told me, he worked for the administration in the school, and he told me that the church is very powerful and they can make me disappear. Okay? He shook my hand with this weird handshake thing, and it was just, I was being threatened and bullied, and so I had nowhere else to go. So I didn't want to end up on the street, but eventually I said, Lord, they're going to kill me if I stay here, or I'm never going to make it. So I either wait until they force me out of here, or I leave on my own with some dignity. So I left. So anyway, why am I making this video? Because I talked to some more people who are pretty high up in the Catholic Church with connections, and they all rule me out as a liar and a crazy person. And then when they see my Facebook post, because I'm an end times person, and I believe we're close to the tribulation, and I'm posting all these non-approved prophecies out there. Yeah, because it's happening. It's kind of funny that these things that are non-approved by the Catholic Church, by the Vatican, are still happening. So I've even given my own prophecies, and I'm not a prophet, and it's happened. They just silence me and tell everybody, don't listen to him, he's nothing but a kook. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not. And I've got records to prove that my therapist's records have all showed there's nothing mentally wrong with me. I've gone through many psych evaluations, especially trying to get into seminaries. Nothing wrong. I have a lot of health issues, but not mental. I am actually quite intelligent. I read a lot of books. I watch a lot of programs. I have been studying this stuff for 25 years, okay? So, and I am not the only one. There are many people like me in the world making videos all the time on YouTube saying the same things I've been saying. So either millions of us are all insane, or we're right and somebody doesn't want the truth out there. I don't know. But it just bothers me that if another priest looks down his nose at me and doesn't take me seriously when I confess to them and tell them what happened to me, and you sit there and say, oh, I think you need a therapist. I'm the one that got kidnapped. I need a therapist? What about the people doing stuff like that? What if I never escaped? I would have been a missing persons. And it's funny because they knew that I had no family or anybody, and I wouldn't have been missed by anybody. That's why I was singled out. How do I know I was kidnapped? Okay, I'm sent to Texas. These strangers, instead of the priest who was supposed to pick me up at the airport, he sends a man and a woman who I don't even know, but they knew who I was and what I looked like. And they picked me up. Then they're talking amongst themselves, saying, oh, he doesn't look as young and good looking as he did on Facebook. Oh, don't worry, he'll do. Are you sure? He'll do. I heard that. What is that supposed to mean? But I played stupid. I'm like, oh boy, I'm in trouble. Something's wrong here. Then they said, oh, make sure you call your mom and everybody and tell them, leave messages saying that you've arrived safely and everything's good and that they're probably not going to hear from you for a while, but not to worry. You're okay. So I pretended to do that. But I didn't really. But then one of the guys, Wilbert Coles from the seminary, the diocesan side, who set the whole thing up, he called them, and I heard him talking to them, and he's like, do you have him? And they're like, yes. Are you sure you got the right kid? Yes. Okay. So I heard him, and then he calls my phone. He goes, so you're with so-and-so. They got you. You're going to go with them. Listen, don't be afraid. Just go with them. I know it looks a little weird. You're going to meet Father so-and-so, Father Ronaldo, soon. He's going to meet you at a different location. Just, everything's fine. And I'm like, I knew, thank God I'm an actor, because I knew that I was in trouble at that point. Nobody else supposedly knew I was in Texas. I'm trapped there. I'm with these people now. So they put me in the back of a van. Then they take me to this restaurant. And then these two guys in leather coats and leather gloves show up. And during the whole time I'm sitting there with these people, they're like, oh, make sure you eat. And I'm sitting there, and these two guys show up, and they're standing behind my chair on both sides of me the entire time I'm at the restaurant. And everybody's speaking in Spanish. Then the priest shows up, and he looks at me, and he looks at them, and they're all speaking in Spanish. Now, luckily, I don't speak Spanish. And they're like, oh, by the way, do you speak Spanish? I'm like, now you ask me? You've been talking in Spanish the whole time. No, I don't. I'm like, and it's very rude for you to speak Spanish in front of somebody like that unless you're hiding something. Oh, no, don't worry about it. We're just talking. And then the guy said, it's him. I know. The guy who picked me up at the airport is telling his wife or whoever she was, it's him. I know it's him. I'm sure. She's like, are you sure? He's like, I'm sure. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, no, nothing. There's just something you need to do for us later. And I'm like what? I was told I was coming here to stay at this priest's house for the week for Christmas break because I had nowhere else to go. And the seminary said I could not stay at seminary because it's only my first year and I have to go somewhere. And since I had no family to stay with, I was sent here. Oh yeah, no. At 7:30, we're all gonna come back and you just get some rest. She's like, make sure he gets sleep. He hasn't slept in a couple days, he said, and he's gonna need all his energy for tonight. And I'm like, what? Why would I need all my energy? She goes, oh, don't worry about it. And she's like, he's not eating. Make sure he eats. And I'm like, I'm not hungry anymore. So now I look at these guys are looking at me, and it's just like I have to play along with this at this point. So now we go outside, and everybody escorts me to the van, and then they nod at the priest, and the priest says, I got him from here. And they put my luggage in the back of this priest's huge, expensive, like, Escalade, okay? Like, this is like a $60,000, fully loaded, black, tinted window, dark tinted window, Cadillac Escalade. What kind of a diocesan priest drives around in that, right? Well, it gets even better. So I get in the car with him, and he said, okay, meet me back, come back to my house at 7:30. He brings me to his house, about an hour drive, okay, from the airport, out in the middle of nowhere in El Paso Desert, somewhere near the border. It's a huge mansion-type place. In the middle of nowhere, with this huge 10-foot rock wall around the whole thing, and once we get in, he locks me in the damn house and leaves. And says, we'll be back at 7:30. And I couldn't get out of this house. And I'm not going to get into every detail. The place smelled like rotten corpses and feces. I was gagging. The windows couldn't be opened. They were sealed shut. Every door was locked except for the front door and the back door. And if you go out the front or the back, guess what? You're stuck in this compound around the house. You can't get out because there's a 10-foot wall around the whole perimeter. So there's no way out. And there's no handles. And you need a key for every single lock and door in the place, including the exterior gates, which you can't see through because of these like big metal things. You can't even see through. And so I'm panicking. I know I'm in trouble. I can't get out. I hear noises in these other rooms. There's like 20 rooms in this big house. And I hear noises and thumping sounds and these terrible odors, but I can't open any of these doors, right? Well, this guy had this huge thing of keys, and there must have been 50 keys. Like, there's a separate key for every door, even the closets. I opened a broom closet and just my room, and that was it. That's all it would open. Everything else, oh no, 2 other doors. There was one, I opened up this door to a bedroom, and there's meat scales with meat hooks and chains and ropes and scales, like scales that you step on at like a medical center, and scales that you would like weigh stuff on, like a whole room full of that creepy stuff. It was like something out of a nightmare. And a bed, like a video like thing on a tripod. And then in another room I opened was just a whole room full of AV equipment, boxes of VHS tapes and all kinds of tapes, and spools and spools of AV wire, like cable wire, just tons of it, and cameras and everything. Then I noticed from every room were wires, cable wires, going out of every room into one area in a living room, and they all connected to a projector, which comes down in the living room. So there's this big empty living room with nothing but a couch and a pull-down projection screen with a projector. So whatever goes on in those rooms gets projected onto this screen. That's creepy and sadistic, right? So then I opened the refrigerator and all the cabinets. Now, this guy supposedly lives there alone for 2 years. The place looked unlived in, like it was just built yesterday, but it's empty and expensive, like $1 million place, right? And there's no food or anything in the fridge or in any of the cabinets except one walk-in pantry. And in this pantry was nothing but 6 levels of green Gatorade. Dark green, like melon Gatorade. Nothing else. Just a whole walk-in closet full of green Gatorade. Creepy as all hell with electrolytes. Okay? That's something from a Silence of the Lambs movie. What are you, just feeding your victims Gatorade to keep them alive? I mean, just whatever. So, in my room, okay, there's blood and there's semen, okay, on the sheet, and hair, like all kinds of hair, like long women's hair and stuff, all over the sheets. It was disgusting. And on the towels in the bathroom. And in my bathroom, the tub has a dark, dirty ring, like it's filthy bathtub. And in the sink A dark, dirty ring and rusty razors, okay? Rusty razors and flat-edge razor blades, all rusty with hair, clumps of hair everywhere. In the drawers and in the cabinet, all rusty razors and like medical gauze, okay? And hair. In the bathroom also, above the shower, is a hole in the ceiling that looked like a camera could be in it. In the bathroom also was a walk-in closet. I noticed that on the inside, there's no doorknob on the inside. On the outside, there's a lock. You need a key to lock it. There was nothing in this walk-in closet but a chair, a metal folding chair, and a blanket. Okay? Creepy. Hello? I can't make this stuff up. This is like Stephen King material, and I had to live it. So I knew I was in trouble, and I could feel it in my heart, and I heard the Holy Spirit say, you need to leave, they're coming, you're in danger. So I kept praying. I prayed my rosary, I prayed a chaplet to St. Michael, I prayed a Divine Mercy chaplet. The feeling of imminent danger got stronger and stronger. So finally, it got to the point where, at this point, it's dark out now, and it's almost 7:30, and I hear a voice, clear. It's like not a voice, but like it was an inner voice, I can't even explain it. And it was very clear, they're coming, you need to leave now. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I can't bring my luggage or anything. I have my cell phone, I tried calling 911, it was not getting any service in the house. So I go out the back door, and I'm like running around in the dark, and I'm like, I can't get over this wall, where am I going to go? And I don't know what's on the other side of the wall. I see this planter along the side of the house. That's all along the side of the house. I run, jump off this planter, and throw myself at least 8 to 10 feet across, grab onto the top of this tall rock wall, talk about adrenaline and the power of God, flip myself over, I rip my shirt and my pants and everything on this jagged wall, flip over and fall down on the other side into the desert on my back, in the dark. Now I get up and I'm like, I don't know if there's snakes or scorpions or God knows what. I can't see anything. And now I'm in this open field, surrounded by barbed wire and chain link fencing for all the way down this dirt road. And I'm like, great, now I'm stuck in here. So I kept going and going until I found a way out of this fence, and now I'm on the main road, and I'm calling 911, and I told them what happened to me, and like, we can't get a location. Where are you? We need an address. I'm like, I don't know. We've traveled like an hour. I don't know where I am. They're like, you have to get to the nearest gas station, and we'll call the police. They'll come and get you. So I go about a quarter of a mile to the nearest gas station down the street. And I'm like, these people are going to catch me because it's nothing but me in this open desert, and they're going to see me. And so I'm running like heck while I'm on the phone with 911. I finally get to this gas station. I get a location. The police come. They bring me back to this priest's house. I'm like, I don't want to go back. They're like, you have to. We're fine. You're safe with us. So we're waiting now for the priest to arrive. Before he arrives, it's 7:30 on the dot, and a caravan of 6 vehicles. The first one was the van with the man and woman who picked me up. The second car, those 2 guys in leather jackets who were at the restaurant, and then a bunch of other cars full of people, and they took off. When they saw the cops, they took off. And I'm like, those are the people who kidnapped me. Go after him. Like, no. Wait for the priest. The priest shows up 5 minutes later, starts acting all surprised and cool as a cucumber. Oh, officer, something wrong? Is everything okay? Oh, Stephen, is everything okay? I'm like, get my luggage, I'm going home. Oh, officer, leave him with me, I'll take care of him. No, I'm not leaving, I'm not staying with you. Officer, get my luggage, and I want to get out of here. I want to go to the airport, I want to go home. And they're like, open the door, sir, let him get his luggage. He's like, is everything okay? I'm like, open the door. And so I'm like, come in, and they're like, Steve, go get your luggage. I'm like, I'm not going in that house without you. So the cops are standing there with me, and he's trying to open the door. And he's got this huge key ring. And he's spending like 2 minutes. He can't find the friggin' key to open his own house. And even the cop said, sir, how long you been here? Couple years. You live here by yourself? Yep. Why do you have so many different keys and so many different locks? Isn't that a little excessive? And he didn't answer them. Then he turns to me and he whispers in my ear, how did you get out? And I looked at him and I said, and so the cop is like, what did he say to you? And I'm like, he asked me how I got out. So then he opens the door and he quickly escorts me and the police all the way across the house. and into my room, the guest room, to get my luggage, and then lets us out another door on the other side. He didn't want those cops spending even a second in that house to look around. But they did notice the foul odor, and they noticed everything I told them about the place, all the locks, all the doors, everything. And they said, listen, we can't go in there and do a search without a search warrant. And the only way to get a search warrant is if you press charges. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to cause another church scandal. And you know, the seminary sent me here, so I'll be killed. Like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know what to do. I have to go back to that seminary because that's the only place I live. Like, all my stuff's there. If I do this, I'm going to be kicked out of seminary. I'll be homeless on the street. I don't know. I'll think about it. Well, they're like, are you sure? And I told them the whole story. They wrote their report. They're like, we can't do anything unless you file charges. So I'm like, let me think about it. So they bring me back to, the priest is begging them to let me stay with him. And I'm like, no. They told me they were going to bring me to the airport. They bring me to their police station, which is also a prison. And they're like, listen, it's very dangerous out here. Stay inside until your Uber comes. They made me put an Uber app on my phone because I didn't know how to do it, and I had to get an Uber. 2 Ubers came and took off without even letting me in the car because they realized it was a prison. The third one was this young girl, and by the time she realized it was a prison, she was like, I was already in the car, and she's like, don't hurt me. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you just got out of prison. I'm like, no, I didn't. She goes, well, then why am I picking you up at a prison? I'm like, ma'am, I was brought here by the police, and I'm like, please just take me to the airport. She's like, it's an hour ride. I'm like, fine, then I have plenty of time to tell you what happened. So I told this girl everything, this Uber driver, and she actually didn't even charge me for the ride. She goes, you know what? You are lucky, and I feel so bad for you. She's like, but I will never go there again now that I know that's a prison. She's like, and I'm like, it doesn't mean everybody's a criminal, you know? I'm like, thank you for picking me up, because the other 2 didn't. So, anyway, now I get to the airport, and my ticket is not for 7 days, because I was supposed to be there for 7 days. They would not let me get an earlier flight. They said there was nothing for the next 7 days. So I had to spend the last bit of money I had in my account, thank God I had almost $2,000 at the time, on a hotel room in the El Paso airport. And it was not cheap. And I was stuck there for 7 days. Meanwhile, the kid, Wilbert Colas, who said he was in Florida on Christmas break, shows up at my hotel the next day, and they told him where my room was. And to my surprise, there's Wilbert. You got to come with me now. You pissed off some people, and you got to come with me right now. And he's on the phone speaking some different language to them. And I'm like, I'm not going with you. What do you think? I'm stupid? He's like, you need to come with me now. You really got me in a lot of trouble. Those people are waiting for you. I'm like, he's like, I'm trying to help you. You're going to meet the bishop, and they were trying to help you to get into our diocese. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. And he's like, Steve, please come with me. I'm like, Wilbert, I'm not coming. So he finally leaves, and then, look, I'm not even going to get into the rest of it. It was a terrible 7 days. This dude was supposed to be in Florida. Next thing you know, the next day, he's in Texas. He was there. He planned this whole thing. Like, this is just sick. And he also kept calling me even while I was in the priest's house. Steven, I know you're probably paranoid right now. You're probably really scared. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. I know how you get. You know, just trust the guy. I know he's a little weird. He always locks people in. It's okay. I was there too at one point, and I'm fine. You know, he helped me out. He'll help you out too. Don't worry. And I'm like, this is not making things easier, Wilbert. Like, you know, he was even calling me while I was trapped in this place. Okay? Then he shows up in my hotel. Then they sent other people to my hotel room. I had to change my hotel room and tell them not to let anybody know where I was the rest of the week because people kept coming to my room trying to get me to leave with them. Okay? And it was scary. I was terrified. Imagine, you have nobody in this world. You're all alone. I've never been to Texas. I'm stuck. I might be 39 years old at this time, but I was still scared because I'm like, nobody believed me? What was I supposed to? And it's also funny how my formator calls me the next morning, and he knew everything that happened. And he goes, you called the police on the priest? You got us in trouble. You just started a scandal. How could you do this? You're insane. And I'm like, Father Dewey, how did you know all of this stuff? He's like, how did I know? Because the police called the seminary to verify that you're one of our seminarians. And what are you doing down in Texas and near the border wall and this and that? And do you have any idea the trouble you caused? And he started trying to blame everything on me and make me look like a nutcase. And then when I get back to the seminary, All of a sudden, nobody would talk about what happened. I wanted to talk about it. Nope, it never happened. It never happened. Don't worry about it. Oh, and by the way, the chapel duty that you requested that we said you couldn't do, it's all yours. You have the chapel duties this year that you wanted. Oh, and that bigger room, we're giving you the biggest room in the house. I don't want to move rooms. Well, you're getting the biggest room in the house. It's the biggest, it's best suite we have. So they gave me that. And I'm like, okay, why are you guys brown nosing me now and all of a sudden giving me all this stuff? They just wanted to keep me silent and happy until, but then second semester starts and every one of my teachers started harassing me in class. First day of each class, first day of school, a second semester, every class, the teacher came up to me, purposely shook my hand in front of all the other students, saying, "We are so happy to have you in our class. We have been waiting for you to be in our, oh, this should be a very interesting year. I can't wait to have you as a pupil." And all the other classmates are like, "What's up with this? Why is he getting special treatment?" I'm like, it's not good, guys. It's not good. So, look, I can go on and on about the hell that I had to experience in 6 months at that seminary. I am lucky, I'm telling you. I don't know if it was a satanic ritual, because I know that, oh, and by the way, some people down in Mexico, down there, told me that this is common. Something called Santeria or something. It's some kind of satanic thing where they kidnap people like seminarians and they satanically sacrifice them after torturing them and drinking their blood and all this stuff for these kind of rituals. And they do something with the Holy Eucharist and the blood of the seminary. I don't even want to think about what they were planning on doing. She said they also kidnap people for organs. They'll take your organs and then bury you in the desert. She said that, because her father worked in the church for a while down there and he left because of this stuff going on down there. She goes, "Stephen, you're at the border." She goes, "You have no idea how dangerous it is for people like you down here. You're practically in Mexico. People like you get transported over that border all the time and you're never seen again. Sex trafficking, slavery, all kinds of stuff." She's like, "You are very lucky." This is another Uber driver I was talking to, because it was Sunday and I was trying to get to church and I told this girl also what happened to me and she was telling me and I ended up meeting her father and going to church with her and all this stuff and it's a long story and he told me too. They took me to his house. He works for the church. He was like a deacon or something and he even said, "You are very lucky. Very lucky." He's like, "Because you would have been a missing person. And this is very common in the Catholic Church. I hate to tell you. It goes unknown and nobody's ever really escaped." He's like, "And there's so many people to cover it up in high places." So, yeah, how do you think this makes me feel? Okay? So, I left. I'm here now. And it's been a rough 2 years because I've been trying to rebuild my life from nothing. And I'm almost 42 next month now. I have terrible health issues. And I have no money again. And I've been working for the past 2 years since I got back at a seminary. I had a car. I got ripped off. I put $7,000 into the thing already. It's still broken. Now it's undrivable. My credit was shot. Like I just went to try to get a car, recently. And they lied to me and they ran my credit 6 times and did 6 hard pulls and dropped it down 80 points. Now I'm so low, 520 credit, I can't get a rent now. I can't get the mortgage on the condo I wanted. I can't get a car. And I lost a job with the government where you need over 6-something credit to get it. And I waited so long for this job. It was a $100,000 a year job with the DEP. And they denied me the job last minute because my credit score went down. Okay, I can't win. This year sucks already, all right? Sorry, Lord, but it does. And it's not, no matter what I do, I just keep getting knocked back. And now Don and I are sick with possible COVID. So it's like, I don't know. People say, "Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy." I'm not freaking crazy. You guys wouldn't survive a day in my shoes or in my life. You have any idea how hard it's been the last 42 years? I've never had a normal life. I cannot tell you how many times I've almost died in accidents, car accidents, drownings 4 times. When I was younger, suicide attempts, anaphylactic shock 3 times, died in surgery, guns in my face on the job doing security details. I mean, kidnapped twice in my life. This is not even a joke. So what do you think? I'm a raving lunatic just making all this stuff up? No. What do I have to gain? It's only hurting my reputation. Nobody's going to want to hire me. No one's going to ever let me into a vocation ever again. Everybody thinks I'm insane. Why can't you people believe me? Like, I'm not selling books here. Like, what does it take for you to understand that this stuff happens, and it might be rare, but it's not so rare. It's just that most people don't live to tell the tale, or most people don't have to go through this in seminary. I literally, Don, I'm filming. Come on. She keeps burping in the background. Anyway, they hear it. It's not. Anyway, the point is, I have been through hell and back, and I'm freaking tired, all right? And I've been very sick this week, and I talked to another priest who's supposed to be a big honcho in the Archdiocese of New York, and he totally didn't even want to pay attention to what I was saying on the phone. He already knew all about me and my story, apparently, and church militant and all that, and yeah, I was referred to him by somebody in my church to be my spiritual director. No, he just wanted to hear my story. It's not going to change. I don't care how. I've had to talk to the FBI. I've had to talk to the district attorney. I've had to tell this story so many times, and it just never changes because it can't. It's the truth. I'm doing the shortcut here. I'm not giving you every little detail because you would never believe me. It's just so. I don't know. So maybe that person was right who told me today. I advise you to just forgive and forget and never talk about it again and move on, because nobody's going to believe me, and everybody who hears my stories think that I'm a crazy person or a religious fanatic or holy roller. And nowadays, with Christian persecution on the rise, even with our own church, people like me, oh no, you got to watch them. They're troublemakers. They're crazy insurrectionists. Please. Listen, I've studied enough about the Catholic faith and the saints, and they were all like me. Worse than me. And they weren't crazy. Because if they were, we wouldn't have statues made of them and tons of books on them, and they wouldn't be doctors of the church. Okay? But they were ridiculed by their own people until they died. So, I'm not saying I'm a saint, because I know I'm not. And I wish, but I'd like to be, because I need to go to heaven one day. I'm not a prophet. I don't know what I am, but I'm not a liar. That is, anybody who knows me knows I am truly passionate, and I am not a liar. I might be overzealous, I might be hard to believe sometimes, but I'm not a liar, and I'm not gaining anything from this. Nobody's bringing me on a TV show and paying me money. I don't have a movie deal. I'm not selling books. This is not helping me to tell my story. It's only hurting me. But the truth needs to come out for two reasons. One, so that if everybody knows, I feel safer. Because if anything happens to me, you'll know why. But I don't think they will be that. I hope they're not going to be that brazen to get rid of me one day because I'm a whistleblower. But at least I put it out there. I feel a little bit safer coming forward than always having to look over my shoulder all the time and wondering, are they just... are they over it now? Or, Father Dewey called me again. Every once in a while, every couple months, he calls me, one of my formators. Oh, hey, how you doing? Whatever. And I can tell he's got me on speaker, and he's trying to entrap me, because he asks me the same questions over and over again, and he tries to say things to see how I react, like, oh, we didn't do that, right? It was just you. Blah, blah. Oh, and I'm like, no, stop. Here we go again. Yes, you did, and I have proof, and this is what you really did. And then all right, we got to go. Yeah, okay. Because you know that whoever's listening, you know that if they hear me, you're not going to be valid, So it's like, whatever. Acting like I just care about you. I want to make sure that you're okay. If you cared about me, you wouldn't have done that to me. I would still be in seminary. You wouldn't have destroyed my vocation and my credibility and my reputation. So now anybody who looks into my former seminary thinks that I'm a raving lunatic. All to cover your own LGBT corrupt behind. Oh, and I find it really amazing how I just got the newsletter again. I'm still on their mailing list. And that my former roommate, who was sleeping with another guy who's now going to become a priest, he was kicked out of seminary and sent back to Vietnam. I saw priests coming out of his room at 2, 3 in the morning with their pants down and this and that, okay, with their collars still on. He got sent away. Not to mention I had to hear because his bed was on the other side of my bed, on the other side of a very thin wall. He's back now. They took him back. He's back at the seminary again. Wow. And Wilbert Colas, who orchestrated this whole kidnapping, I hear he's a priest now. Do you see how deep the evil is in these seminaries, in the Vatican? This is scary. When they said that they can make me disappear, they meant it. Except God protected me and I got away. And you're right, I'm going to sing like a canary. Because what am I supposed to just keep this to myself? You ruined me. You ruined my life. I don't even know if I'm ever going to get a good job again. I'll never be a priest or a brother. You ruined my vocation. Listen, I'm not a saint, but I'm the kind of priest you would want to have in the church. Somebody who's going to be real, who wants to be a holy priest. Not these clowns that you got that have come out of this cookie cutter BS system now, that are this Novus Ordo system, that they're being brainwashed at like 18. What do they know about life experience at 18, 20 something years old, coming out of college and going right into these corrupt seminaries? Most of them are homosexual to begin with, so they're all screwed up anyway. They're sleeping with each other. Don't tell me it don't happen. I saw it. Okay, it's rampant in all the places, all the seminaries. And now these guys, they're going to go out there and try to be a holy priest. What are they going to teach people about holiness? They don't even believe. They don't even follow the rules themselves. They have no right being priests. Oh, please. This is why the wrath of God is coming. This is another reason why Steve Donnell is cuckoo. Because I keep telling you people, the wrath of God is being unfolded and poured out upon us already. And it will continue because God is pissed. And rightfully so. You've destroyed his church. You've destroyed his planet. Everything is ass backwards from what he created and commanded. So what do you think? He's just going to sit back and watch babies be aborted by the millions? Their blood is reaching his throne. All these homosexual marriages and all this now transgenderism and trying to make your kids indoctrinated before these poor kids can't even just enjoy a normal childhood. They got to have these ugly demonic transvestite or crazy clown-looking drag queens coming in, drag queen story hour in kindergarten. Why do you need to expose these kids to that filth? What are they supposed to learn from that disgusting creature? Oh, by the way, I take it up the butt, and I'm a sodomite, and you'll like it too. I'm grooming. Come on. If you're gay, that's one thing, but do not force it on people. Innocent children don't need to know that stuff. Let them be children. But no, we got to make sure that they get them young. Get them on board now and make them that way so that this new world order, this whole communism has always been perverted and gay and corrupt and satanic. Always. And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get this younger generation ready to comply with whatever Satan wants. Oh man, you guys listen. It's only a matter of time before you realize that people like me are telling you the Bible is true. You will see that it is. But, I mean, look, I don't even know why I bother even complaining anymore, because we can't stop it. Prophecy must be fulfilled, and it will be, as Jesus said it would. And you're seeing it unfolding right now. It is being fulfilled. Why do I tell you guys about something that we can't stop or prevent? So that you're wise enough to see what's going on and not fall into the snare. You don't have to. You can have Jesus no matter what you've done in your life. You really can. But you're going to it's not easy, because you're going to have to do what he says. See, that's where I lost the last viewer. Because as soon as you tell somebody, hey, I don't know what else to tell you. Listen, you have any idea how much I've had to change my life, suffer and endure and almost die so I can preach what I preach? Why would I do that? My life is dangling by a thread. It is very delicate. If something were to happen to Donna tomorrow, I'm on the street. I don't have much time left. I might get sick and die of COVID. I don't know. I've got enough health issues that can take me on at any time. Why do you think I do this? I've lost all my friends. My family disowned me. My seminary mistreated me, threw me out on the street. What do I have? Nobody wants to date me. I'm ugly now. I'm sick. I have no money. Well, thank you, Amy, and I'm surprised you are because I know that sometimes we don't always see eye to eye, and I am sorry for that. But look, I'm me, you know. At least we can agree that you know I love you, and I want you to know that the fact that it means a lot to me that you are watching this right now, even if you don't agree with everything, because that means you care. And at least you can love me even though we have differences. And I want you to know that I love you too. And you're the kind of people that I make these videos for. The people who actually listen to it, who actually care, who at least are open-minded. Okay? Not just shutting everything off because they don't like it. There's a lot of stuff that we don't like in life, you know? You know my backstory. You grew up with me. You know that I'm no saint, or wasn't, but I've changed a lot. Yeah, well, I don't know. And you're my friend, and I appreciate it because you've been by my side for, gosh, I'm almost 42 now, so since high school. So that means a lot that you haven't left. But we don't really get to see each other much, but maybe one day you and me and your sister will. That would be awesome. I can definitely use real friends in real person instead of just always over most of my friends have been in other countries that I can only talk to through Facebook. It kind of stinks. But anyway, I've been going through hell, but you know what? I don't stop preaching. It would be better if I did, not to my soul, but for my life, if I would just shut up and comply and just go with the flow of the rest of the world, and people would eventually maybe forget, and I could go back to a normal life, but I can't do that because I know stuff. Like I know what I know. And I'm risking everything. I'm risking people thinking I'm absolutely insane. So be it. You gotta be to be a Christian nowadays, a real Christian, because what God expects of us really is in this day and age totally opposite of everything we're taught and forced to do. You have to swim upstream. You have to go against the grain. But I'm not a stupid person, and I swear, if I did not believe with all my heart that I know for sure I'm right, I would never do this. I could have been an actor and a model. I was up and coming. I was this close before the Lord kind of called me in the other direction, and I had to make a choice, and I chose Jesus. And what an adventure it's been. Not a pleasant one. I'm sure if I make it to heaven, he'll make it up to me, but in the meantime, it's been a long, difficult battle. But again, I can't go back now. So what do? Now I have a reputation for being a crazy preacher, but you know what? Fine. Then that's me. I'm not for everybody. But if people who think that they're so educated, remember, and this is kind of funny when priests and theologians look down upon me and say, "Oh, you don't know. I'm a priest. I've gone to seminary, and I have a degree in psychology, and blah blah. What do you know?" Well, I know that Jesus doesn't choose people like you. He always uses the foolish to confound those who think they're wise. That's in the Bible. He also used little poor sickly people like David to slew Goliath when all his big brothers who were military giants were too scared to do the job and couldn't do the job because they didn't have God on their side. Okay, so I'm exactly the material Jesus Christ would use. And he would absolutely give me more wisdom in an hour than you guys can ever have in your entire career as a priest. Because you have not enough faith. You just know your stuff from books, but you're not really obeying him. You don't really believe enough. You don't have the relation. And maybe he didn't want you. Maybe it's enough for you to be a priest. We need priests. But maybe only select individuals throughout history get to be closer to Christ, get to see supernatural things. I don't know. It's not for me to choose. All I know is I begged Jesus many years ago, do what you can with my life. Please, I'm all yours. I surrender. And bam, I was like thrust into a whole new world, and I've not stopped since. And I have been beaten literally and battered, and I'm just like, there's days where I'm late. Like the other day, I was begging God to kill me. I'm like, Jesus, I don't know what is wrong with my health now, but I am in so much severe pain from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. I can't move. I can't get out of bed. I am so sick. Please just kill me. I cannot take another night of this pain. It was like 3 days of agony. Today I'm better. Now it's in my lungs, but at least the pain in the bone, oh my God, I cannot even describe. I felt like somebody broke every bone in my body with a baseball bat. And it just came on suddenly out of nowhere, just bam. And I was like just locked up in pain. and it lasted days. And so, could have been a demonic attack. It could have been another test from God. What did I do? Besides complain to the Lord how painful it was, I kept offering it up. I'm like, Lord, whoever needs this suffering, I offer it up. I don't want to waste it. I'm offering up for my family to be converted so they can be saved, because they don't know you. And so if this is what it takes, if I must suffer for them, so be it. Take it. Sometimes he takes the pain away from me immediately. This time he didn't. I had to lay there for almost 3 days in agony. Finally, it's gone. So far. I mean, I'm still feeling some of it, but it was not nearly as bad. So, I wouldn't wish that on Hitler. And that's not even the worst I've been through. So, I'm just telling you guys, I don't know, maybe Satan's pissed at me or something again. He probably is. But I keep exposing him. I keep exposing his plans. And every time I get somebody to heaven, like another person I prayed for recently, they died right after I prayed for him, they probably made it up for the Chapel of Divine Mercy. What happened? Satan retaliates again. I get the crap beat out of me, or some bad things happen in my life because I got another soul to Jesus. Now, they might be in purgatory for 1,000 years, but at least they're going up. I don't get away with that. The devil comes and wallops me. So, again, that sounds like crazy talk. Well, look, then don't call yourself a Christian if you don't believe in Jesus and the devil. Because he most assuredly is a very real presence down here and certainly can attack. And he will. And, you know, and you don't want to, let me tell you something else, and this is going to make me look even more insane. I don't care, because I know it's true. And she's seen it too. Actually, Donna has seen things in my trailer a couple years ago when I lived there. Scary stuff. Things getting thrown across the room at us, and we're just sitting there having dinner. Okay? Explain that. That scared her. She was terrified of that. But I'm like, now you see? See what I do? Oh, and the lights turning on and off, back and forth. And one end of the trailer to the other, and knocks on the door. And the door, I had to disconnect the doorbell because it kept ringing and ringing at midnight. It was so annoying. Things I deal with all the time, right? Demonic crap. So, anyway, I've seen things that would make it so that you would never touch a Ouija board in your life. You would never sleep with the lights off again. I sleep, and I'll show you my room. It's fully surrounded by religious blessed items. Because if I don't, and even with those, I got to deal with trouble sometimes. There are things that come in and try to attack. I use holy water in every corner of the room every night, and on myself, I got all these things on me everywhere and more in my room. I mean, look, I'm doing the best I can to protect myself here. And the minute I mess up, the minute I'm out of a state of grace and I need to go to confession, oh man, the floodgates are open, and it's like open season. All these terrible things happen instantly. Like the minute I know I committed a mortal sin, bam, like everything goes wrong, and the devil comes full in. I get sick, or terrible things happen, and it's just like, and then there's like a car accident, and the car breaks down, and it's just like, you lose your job, and it's just one thing after another. I'm like, you cannot mess around in this day and age. Jesus wasn't kidding. Like, in the end times, Satan has he's running out of time, and he's out in full swing. And so, if you're not in a state of grace, you're open season. And that's our fault, because we break God's commandment, we fall out of grace, and now the devil has permission to sift us. So, and I deal with it often because I keep falling into sin, you know? If I'm not judging somebody or swearing at somebody, or, you know, look, I have a lot to work on still, and time's running out. But I will tell you that whenever I mess up, some of my best long videos and sermons come out, because it's like a little pep talk to myself. Okay, you did this, now you know why, and this is why you shouldn't do it, and a whole video comes out of it. So, at least some good comes of it. But I'm not encouraging sin. But God did say where sin abounds, grace much more abounds. But that does not give us a license to sin, and we should not presume. So anyway, I need to get back to confession ASAP. Of course, the priest is off tomorrow, and I'm sick. So hopefully Friday or Saturday. Because I'm going to be open season until I get back into that confessional. And that's why I'm so sick, because I screwed up the other day, and immediately after I screwed up, I got sickness just hit me instantly, and I was in crippling pain for days. You cannot afford to mess up, because you get out of God's grace now, Satan's going to be there waiting for you with the bat. And I'm not making this stuff up, guys. So anyway, that was a long, unexpected video. I just wanted to make that video because I am so sick and tired of trying to have to explain myself and prove myself to people that I'm not insane, that I'm not making up stories. I got nothing to gain from it. I got a lot to lose from it. I'm doing it because it's the truth and it needs to be told. Okay? Jesus Christ is Lord. Viva Cristo Rey. He would want me to do that. Okay? He's all about truth and justice. So I have to, all I can do is, how can I preach without a personal testimony? I have to give you reasons for my faith, to explain why I believe the way I do and why I'm so passionate. I got to show you through the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the goods and the bads, why I still do this. Because most people would have given up a long time ago and be like, the hell with that. Like, that's not, I don't want that kind of life if that's what it means to be a Christian. It's not like that for everybody. But for some, I mean, Padre Pio, he had had stigmata for 55 years. That was painful. And people didn't believe him. Even his own people, they forbid him for saying mass for a while because he had stigmata. Like, it was his fault. God gave it to him. Then he was every Thursday night for 50-something years, the devil was allowed to come into his cell and beat him up all night long for like 12 hours of just a boxing ring with the devil. Literally. Padre Pio had to get tossed around his cell. The cell was caught on fire. His other brothers saw this. Scared them. So, I don't want that. And I don't need that. But some of these saints really go head to head with the devil. But they were given a lot by the Lord, and so more is expected of them. Okay, and it's all for our good, so we can believe. And, nobody's ever going to believe me until the day I'm dead, and maybe not even then. But it's also a faithless generation. If I was here 100 years earlier, it would have been different. I probably would have been revered. But in this generation, it's so hard to get anybody to believe. And I can't always blame them because the church is all screwed up too. So why would anybody want to go? But that's Satan's plan. He wants to muddy the waters so that you don't want to go there. He wants it to look like a bunch of hypocrites so that nobody wants to go there and believe. They're like, I don't want to be part of that. Bunch of ring of pedophiles and scandals. Can you blame people for falling away? The great apostasy? And how does he do it? He's always used the divide and conquer strategy. And it gets us stupid humans every time. And then he got into the Vatican and he's dividing it from the top down. Now the church is two parts of the church now. The traditionalists against the non-traditionalists. And the vaxxers against the anti-vaxxers. And it's just, and the Novus Ordo against the, pre-Vatican. It's just annoying. But that's what he's done. And he's got us all fighting against each other. And we are weak. And we're losing sight on what really matters. And that's how he wins. And he's also divided this country now. The greatest nation in the world, when it was under God, is now united. It's now the divided states of America. United we stand, divided we fall. He's divided us. Blacks against whites, rich against poor, vaxxed against unvaxxed, religious against non-religious, Catholics against Protestants, Dems against Republicans, Trump supporters against Biden. Come on, how many which ways are we going to be divided, people? Don't you see that the devil's in the details? He's orchestrating this. Because while we're all attacking each other, he's gaining power, and then one day, boom, it comes out of left field, and we're all prisoners. And the mark of the beast is forced on us, and it is a literal thing. It's not a, a theory. The mark of the beast is a real thing, and it's coming. It's not the vax, but it's coming. The vax is the precursor to it. It has to get the stage ready. Eventually, people are going to be so used to sticking needles in themselves by command that they're going to take a microchip. Nobody else sees this? I keep asking the Lord, why don't more people see what's really going on? Their eyes are blinded because they don't know me. If they would come to me and ask me, I would show them. But because they do not truly possess me, they cannot see. They really are deceived, and they will remain deceived without me. Well, Lord, then what do we do about this? You do your job and keep spreading the truth about me so that more people might come to me. And if all of you people do your job, we wouldn't be in this mess. But the church is failing me, Steve. And so therefore, this is what's happening. Now, the end was going to come eventually. because it had to, but it didn't have to come so fast. God's not in a rush to end things down here because he doesn't want anybody lost. But he did say if he doesn't shorten the time, even the very elect would be lost. So he has no choice but to start speeding things up now and say, okay, that's it. Because nobody's going to be saved pretty soon. We have to hurry up and let these things happen a lot faster than I wanted to. He would have given us another 2,000 years. He's not in a rush. Look, he's eternal. Like we're going to be up in heaven forever with him. He's not in a rush. I mean, he created this beautiful world. He wasn't in a rush to destroy it. But it's got to end sooner than later because look at what we're doing. Do you even see how people treat animals? We treat animals terribly. We're treating humans worse than animals. I mean, what I've seen in my lifetime is gut-wrenching and disgusting. What we do to children, the sex trafficking, just the horrible things I've learned about in my life makes me disgusted to call myself a human. We animals don't treat each other that way. How can we be the supreme being on this planet, okay, and yet do that? That's sick. That's evil. So, yeah, come on. I mean, I can go on and on. God sees everything all day long. Every child that's hurt and raped and molested and aborted. Every bad, vile thing that happens. Every crime there's somebody out there right now being raped and murdered, kidnapped, killed right now as we speak. The crimes against humanity are going. We're destroying the planet. We're overfishing. I see these people clubbing dolphins that are almost extinct. The way they do you ever watch what they do to these dolphins? They get them trapped and they start beating them to death. It's sick. It's so evil and inhumane. Like, have you no empathy? I can't even hurt a fly, let alone an animal. Like, that's just it bothers me that nobody values life. It's a culture of death. They don't care about animals. They don't care if they go extinct. We're killing ourselves. If God doesn't stop it, we will. Because eventually we're going to run out of resources because we're stupid and we're destroying everything. And then we're going to blow each other up because we're going to be fighting over the last bit of habitable land. And then we're all going to say, hey, you know what? If we can't have it, you can't either. And they're all going to press a button and the nukes are going to fly and we're all gone. That's what's going to happen if God doesn't intervene. And it will. Because that's how people are. If I can't have it, you can't have it either. If I have to do this, then you should have to do it too. If I'm vaxxed, then you better be vaxxed. If I'm going to die, then you're going to die. Human beings are so selfish and disgusting. And then you wonder why God is angry. I cannot blame him. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't wiped us out already. All right? So the time is for those Christians who realize what's up. You need to band together and take your faith very seriously now because we are running out of time. I'm not saying Jesus is coming tomorrow or the end is tomorrow. It's not. We still have to go through the tribulation. The last temple has to be built. There's a lot of stuff but I'm telling you that from this point on, life is going to continue to get harder on planet Earth, and things are going to be forced. And look, I don't even want to talk. I can't even sleep at night when I think about what I know is coming. Not to mention the dreams I get from the Lord. Sometimes I see things and then they're on the news. Like it's on the news shortly after, and it's like, that wasn't a dream. I saw that happen before. Like, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? So, it's scary stuff, guys. And I'm not saying, we're not supposed to be afraid. God's children do not need to be afraid. We just need to know what's up. So he gives us the book in advance. We know how the story ends, so that we're not caught off guard and we're not surprised. And he shows some of us visions and dreams and stuff so that we can warn people so that we're not caught off guard. So we're not surprised, so that the day doesn't come up like a thief in the night against us. It's all about just being prepared. Things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. It's been decreed. We can't stop it, but we can not go down with the ship. And we can be ready for it, and we can survive it until the Lord decides otherwise. So, look, just be faithful to Christ. In a nutshell, I know I talk a lot. I have too many words. A lot of people get tired of hearing. But I'm trying to give you details so that you know why I preach what I preach. You need Jesus. You need to obey him. You need to take it seriously more than anything else in this world. Because as time progresses this year, you're going to realize that we Christians were not crazy, and we're not conspiracy theorists. We were right all along. And it's not too late for you. Just come on board. But time is running out. Now, we're all going to die eventually. Some of us martyred and persecuted. Others of diseases, pandemics, COVID, whatever happens. Some naturally. It's just our time. But not all of us have to go to hell. See, you can die and go to heaven. And that's the whole point. It's eternal. So you need to take this seriously. All this stuff that we're so worried about now is not nearly as important as getting to heaven. And it's not just as easy as, oh, John 3:16, okay, I'm going to heaven. No. Because if John 3:16 was all that was required, like a lot of the Protestants say, well, then guess what? The Bible would be 1 page long. But it's not, because there's a lot of other stuff that goes before and after John 3:16, like the Sermon on the Mount, for example. Okay? Again, people want to believe what they want. They want the easiest, shortest route, but that's not how it works. So you could either stop complaining and just get on your narrow, windy path, pick up your cross, and get going, or procrastinate until you run out of time and go to hell, or don't do anything and go to hell. But I'm telling you, we're all running out of time, and none of us are promised tomorrow anyway. So even if we weren't in the end times, which I know we are, this still is just as important that you take this seriously anyway, because when you do die, now you're going to be judged, and it's over. So please understand that there's a Jesus, there's a heaven and a hell, and hell is not somewhere you even want to see for a second, let alone end up in, okay? So at risk of sounding like a complete Looney Tune all the time, I am not going to stop preaching about the necessity of Christ and of obeying him and of being a real Catholic Christian and getting to heaven. And if that makes me a crazy person, then I'm absolutely insane. Yep, and I'm proud of it. They did it to Jesus was crazy too, and so was every other person who ever followed him in history. So join the club. And when another priest, I don't care who you are in the archdiocese of whatever, I don't care if you're the Pope, you look down on me and call me insane one more time. If you weren't a priest, you know what? I'm going under. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sick of people looking at me like I'm insane. You don't know me. You have not walked a day in my shoes. You do not know why I'm the way I am and why I'm so sure about what I'm sure. And I know that every person that was ever like me on this planet in history got treated the same. I don't care if you're the Pope. It doesn't mean you know more than everybody else. Okay? God will do what he wants with me in my life and with who he chooses. You don't have a say on who God chooses and doesn't choose to talk to or to work through. Okay? But if you know your Bible and you actually believe it, then somebody like me, the worst sinner I could ever know, the biggest loser, unhealthy, weak little idiot, those are the kind of people he uses. Like little David, like me, like Saul, who turned into St. Paul. I mean, the list goes on. And by the way, a lot of those people, except for St. Paul, ended up screwing up down the road at some point and upsetting and offending God. Again, even after all he did for them, like David, okay? But I don't have time to get into all that. So even when they're walking with the Lord, even Peter denied him 3 times, and he knew he was the Lord, and he was still scared. So, you know what? We all make mistakes, and we're human, and God's merciful to forgive as long as you're truly on board, okay? I have lost everything, and I'm not going to say it's all because of my being a Christian, but I've lost a majority of it because of my, not just because I'm a Christian, but because I'm an outspoken Christian. And I tell people stuff that is not usual, I guess, to the average Christian, and so they just think you're insane. I got to do it anyway because it's true. All right? So think what you want about me, but it just really stinks that apparently the general consensus in the Archdiocese of Hartford and New York now and all over the place apparently, I wouldn't be surprised if it got as far as Rome already. I'm being told by some heavy hitters that I'm being written off as insane by the church. So be it. They don't like church militant either. And Michael Voris exposes a lot of darkness, and it's all true. Anybody who speaks the truth nowadays gets silenced, goes missing, or is labeled insane. Okay? And just so that you know, anybody in seminary who gets run out of seminary, if you're not allowed to stay there, then you get run out. And the only way that it's the same story with each one of us. They label you as psychotic. They will start forcing you to go to therapists. They build a paper trail on you, and then they say that you have mental problems. And that's almost 9 out of 10 times. And ask any seminarian who's no longer in seminary, who was forced to leave, or run out, or abused while there. They're always written in their file that they're insane, that something's wrong with them mentally. Okay? Because it's never the molester's fault. It's never their superior's fault. It's never anything. Oh, no, it's never the church. No, it's always the person. Meanwhile, the good guys like me, we get run out of the place for being too rigid, too conservative, too Marian devoted, too traditional. But the child molesting perverts who are having sex in the room next to me, they're now priests. And I could prove that, because I just saw the monthly flyer from the seminary I was at, and the people I reported for having sex with each other are now taking their final vows and becoming priests. One of them was sent back to Vietnam, and now he's back. Why am I out of a vocation, having my whole life ruined, okay, thrown to the street, and told, my reputation ruined? Everybody thinks I'm insane, when I'm not. But yet these, I almost said the F word, gay perverts, getting right through the system. Oh, isn't that just convenient? So, I'm done. Don't talk to me and tell me I'm insane. Do not accuse me of making up tall tales. I got nothing to gain. It has cost me everything to come forward with the truth. And I hope I'm always able and willing, even via pain of death, to do that. So if that makes me insane, then I guess I am. But you know what? Insanity is not this. Insanity is thinking you're going to be a priest while you're breaking all God's commandments, and not just his commandments, but you're committing abominations, and then skirting them through the system, being a perverted pedophile, and then wearing sheep's clothing. That's insanity. Knowing that the cost to doing something like that is an eternity in the deepest recesses of hell, because you're supposed to be holy and represent Christ, and you are the most unholy thing in sheep's clothing, and you're misleading your flocks. Insanity is hanging pride flags from our Catholic churches. Insanity is saying it's okay to get an abortion or to force people into a vaccine. That's insanity. Insanity is canceling the Latin Mass. Insanity is closing our churches down during a pandemic when you need the church the most. I'm insane? Yeah, I don't think so.